She called me an idiot and then turned the camera on like I wasn't gonna call her out on it. Who's the bigger idiot? The idiot or the idiot that married the idiot? Ooh!
Got me there. Burn.
Opening the hood. Okie dokes, our PTU oil change is complete. Wash off all the nasty that we spilled. Get rid of that new fluid that dripped. Spray that down nice and shiny light. Again, no oil change on this, they just recently had it done. There we go. All right, dragging the drain pans out of here, moving on to the final, or one of the final phases of this royal flush is going to be the transmission fluid service. So let me get this thing kind of set up and hooked up and filled up and ready to rock and roll, and then we'll restart this unit over here and get that fluid changed out in the transmission unit. So I do not see any really or readily accessible transcooler lines. We've got these lines here, but they're connected. There's like a fitting right there, and then they connect up top of the trans. They run up to the radiator cooling package, and there's a cooler up there, I think. So we may have to get to this from the top side. Let's go ahead and let this thing down. Off the lock, coming down. Cop car coming all the way down. While it's back on the ground, we'll go ahead and refill the coolant system, or the cooling system. That's gonna be the radiator, hoses, and that overflow surge tank right there. Got a jug of coolant hanging out right here. Actually, this is a BG coolant. It's not the Prestone stuff. I'm just using the bottle. We'll go ahead and refill this right now. Fill that guy right back up. No problem. Time to refill the bottle. It comes out of the bulk drum over here. So stick that guy right in there. And we got a little lift pump here. It's a manual operated pump. Refill our bottle. A lot of fluid exchanging going on in this video. Yep, we're about full right here. Good. Okay. Round 2, fill. Fight. Let's watch this. Epic pouring things. Fail. It's fine. She's gonna get washed off. That is of no matter. You guys hear the train moving around back there? That was all the cars shuffling. Those guys are so busy, they are running trains every day. That's insane. It's like a shipyard on land. Oh, too much. Overflow. All right, that's good for now. Let's find those transmission lines. Okay, so they came up the lines, the cooler lines, they came up and they're going up in front of the radiator area, probably into the AC condenser, because the manufacturers like to use condensers as transmission coolers as well. And I think that those two hoses with those clamps right there are going to be the appropriate units. So I need to figure out how to get in there to get a hold of those lines. I'll probably pull this air box out and pop the bottom panel out of it, the base out of it rather, and go in through this space right here. There we go. Take that guy loose. We'll pull this up and just kind of stick it aside. If we, I'm gonna take it loose and just remove it. That will probably be best because I'm trying to come up with some space to work with here, not work really hard and reach around things. So here we'll pull off, what do we have here? There's a PCV hose. Pull that off the valve cover, or right there, that one's easier. And you take it, rotate it. There we go. Stick that aside, like so. Pull the K and N out. And we can just pop this thing up and out. I think, no, we'll have to unbolt it. 8 and an 8. I wonder if I can just reach in there as we are. Yeah, we're good here. I'll just Grab our clamp, wiggle that back. Ooh, making noise early today. And we'll grab this with the needle noses, pull that hose back off of the metal line. Yeah, stubborn little bugger. Come on. Wiggle, wiggle. Come off, please. There we go. Almost. Come on with it. Yeah, that's it. Now, we've got access to the system. Let's go fill the machine with some fluid and connect it to both sides of these hoses. One side here, one side there, and that'll integrate the machine into the vehicle system. We'll start the engine, let the trans fluid flow, and the machine can do all the work. Well, let me rephrase, it's a split effort. I put the work in up front and then the machine finishes off. So first we're gonna need the fittings and adapters. These guys connect to the service hoses on the machine. This will connect to the hard line, and that means I need a male piece to plug into the soft line that's the same diameter here. Okay. And I'm thinking probably that one, this little two-step piece. I think this is going to be the one. So here's what we'll do. We'll take the 90-degree adapter connector. Let's bring that guy over. This one will plug into our rubber line right here. Oh yeah. Stick that thing down in there. There we go. Now I need to get the clamp on it so it doesn't push off with the pressure. Get this all turned straight here. Bear with me, folks. Again, we're close quarters combat. Not engineered with serviceability in mind. There we go. And then the other hose plugs into that metal piece down yonder. So let's go fetch. What'd I do with it? Not that one. That one right there. That's the one we're looking for. So we'll take this guy, plug it in, plug it in, plug it in, wiggle that thing on. There we go. And now the challenging part is going to be to get this clamp set up. So I need to run it down. You can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to slide this clamp down, and then I'll go in there with a screwdriver or something and tighten it up. So I think I can sheath this hose clamp and just kind of go in with a flat blade screwdriver. It's not a straight angle, but I'm pretty sure I can get enough turns on that clamp to produce some holding pressure so the line stays there. This the setup on this system is the most critical part, because if the hoses come off, you start pumping fluid onto the ground. So there's actually a little bit of risk here if you do it wrong, which you don't want to do it wrong. You want to do it right. There we go. Okay, I think we're on about enough here to tighten that unit down a little bit more. Little wee bit more. We'll shove that in some. Spin it around. There we go. That should do it. And we'll tighten that clamp down. I need to go refill the machine with the fluid, and we'll hook it up and get started. A little bit more. My angle was incorrecto. Let's try that one. Beautiful. Now you gotta be careful doing this, because you'll push the clamp downward and it'll rotate, because you're trying to keep the screwdriver seated on the little drive gear thing. So if you push down with your screwdriver, you can spin the clamp and then put it out of alignment, and that's not okay. But I think I got this one. We're good. We're super good. All right, she's tight. This is my bag in the box. It's not Franzia. Don't drink it. It does kind of look tasty though, doesn't it?
Syrupy.
You said syrupy.
Syrupy.
You said syrupy. I caught you.
Appease you.
No, that was a Freudian slip. I caught you. You said syrupy. It is syrup. Look at that syrup. 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 You want to see what a meniscus is?
Sure.
See that right there? See how the fluid is on top of the thing? That's the meniscus. The vocab word of the day, meniscus.
Whoa.
Oh, so close. Almost done. Fluid exchange into the machine complete. Thank you. Another.
There, it's gone.
Yes. Okay, so now we will circumnavigate this bird, drive this machine back to the other side, and we hook the hoses up to those fittings that we installed. And we've got to climb in, start the engine, let it come up to temperature, and once it's up to temp, we can begin the fluid exchanging process. It's got a thermostatic valve on those transcooler lines, and until the fluid reaches the appropriate temperature, that valve will remain closed. We'll disconnect that. It doesn't matter which one or what order these hoses are in, the machine will automatically valve to have the appropriate flow direction. Okay, so we will connect this one to the hose here, and then this guy, we need to get it on this hose right here. Give it a turn. Plug it in. Okay, we are, look at that. See, that's how you dump fluid everywhere. It was an incomplete connection. Ooh, it's not going. There it goes. Got it. Okay, connected. Here, there, and there. That's closed. Valves are closed there. Machine is full. Let me plug this thing back in so we don't set check engine code, which I don't think it will. There's no mass airflow in here, but I'm gonna plug it in anyway. Why not? And we'll hook up the PCV. Plug that back in partially. There we go. Okay, now we can restart this unit. Darling, will you do me the honors?
Of course.
Hop in this police vehicle here and restart the engine. At this point, it's critical. You've got to kind of really watch it just to make sure we don't lose a hose. It happens. But yep, go ahead. You're good to go.
I'm trying to squeeze in here.
You can do it.
Ugh.
You can do it.
All right, start it up.
Yep, go ahead. All right. There we go. We're starting to get some flow. So we are connected to the transmission line. Sometimes folks will accidentally hook these up to the power steering lines, and that's not okay. So we're going to need, bypass recharge. We need to wait for fluid to appear in this top sight glass, and then we will see some pressure build up. Like I said, the valve on the transmission is closed, so there is no fluid flow at this current point in time. I'm gonna go grab some more coolant, refill this, and by the time I'm done with those other knick-knacky things, this thing should be ready to rock and roll. So we're starting to come up on some pressure, but we don't have flow yet on our upper sight glass, so give it some time. Coolant's been refilled and rechecked. While this thing is still getting ready to wake up for the morning, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the brake system fluid exchange machine. Why is that so tight? Oh, that's stupid tight. Wow. Need pliers. These ones, I'll use these ones. Why not? It has the jaws. Open that up. Yeah, we don't need to make that tight. Holy smokes. It's toy like a toiger. My dear, will you grab me 2 quarts of BG brake fluid out of the vault?
Yes.
Thank you. We're working efficiently. So I need to get one of my adapters on the master cylinder reservoir. I don't think that's the right one. Maybe it is. We'll find out when I put pressure to it. So what's going to happen with this machine is it's a 2-sided machine. There's a pressure side and a vacuum side. We're going to connect the pressure side to that master cylinder at the brake reservoir. We apply shop air to the machine, and it pressurizes the brake fluid on the outgoing side. The other hose that is here is the vacuum side, and what we will do is take the wheels off, go around to each individual corner, and apply the vacuum to the bleeder valves on the brake calipers. We then open up the valves, and it's going to suction out the fluid from the calipers while simultaneously pressurizing and sending fluid into the system in order to positively exchange the fluid. So it's a similar procedure as this. We take the old fluid out, we put the new fluid in, and we do that without mixing the two together. So let's go ahead and get this guy connected. Click U1. Begin clicking on. There we go. That one's on. Valve is closed. That's important to do. And my darling is going to refill this vessel right here. Just do one at a time, please.
Okay.
Yeah, fill that one up. I'm gonna go fetch the shop air hose because we have to hook the air line to that machine right there. Okay, air line coming in. That's turned off, 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 off. I need to wait until this is refilled because if I put air here, it's just gonna bubble all the fluid out of the containment vessel. That's good, babe.
Okay.
Put that thing on and connected. So we are regulated at about 15, 14, 13, 12 something PSI. Right there, that's good. So what I want to do first is check right here and make sure we have a good seal. So I'm going to open this up and it's going to be sending brake fluid into that reservoir. So that's looking good. No leaks happening. Next, I need to go out, lift this car up slightly, and we're going to pull the wheels off. We close that for now. Okay, hubcaps coming off. 1, 2, and 2 more on the other side. Okay, time for some loud noises. We still have pressure on this side of the system. Let's go ahead and open up the flow again. We're gonna start at the right rear, the farthest wheel away from the master cylinder, and we're gonna work our way to the next closest, which is gonna be the left rear, then the right front, then the left front. So we grab our vacuum hose from the brake machine, not the transmission machine. I know we've got two things going at once here, efficiency, but we're gonna grab the vacuum hose, suction hose rather, and we're going to go ahead and open up the bleeder on the right rear, suction out the fluid until the new fluid comes out, and then we'll close the bleeder off and move to the next wheel, and again to the next one, then the next one. Vacuum pump powering on. Pneumatic vacuum pump. That means it's powered by air pressure. Pneumatic with a P. So anyway, we're going to hang that right there. Right, here's our bleeder valve. They have a little cap on them. I pulled the cap off. We're gonna crack this bleeder open. A little bit more. We've got flow. And we put our vacuum hose right on that valve. And it's going to suction out fluid as we pump fluid in. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. What we need to do is just watch the pressure vessel. We've seen it right here. We keep an eyeball on that. And as it comes down the cylinder, we know when we can stop and recheck. If we get to a point where we're out of fluid, I can have to add more fluid to the vessel in order to complete the exchange. And transmission machine is still not up to temp yet. Yeah, lines are still super cold. Okay. Okay, we've gone a little too far on that right rear. So let's go ahead and close it off real quick. Close our valve. Check the fluid condition real fast here. and then we'll move on to the next axle. So what I'll do, pull that guy off, and we're gonna crack it open to let the pressure potentially purge any air. Yep, see that bubble? Fluid looks good. Let's go ahead and lock this one down. Move on to the next. Okay, hose, you're coming with me. Flashlight is coming as well. Off to the right rear axle. We'll repeat the same procedure. So I'm thinking I might actually be done with this fluid exchange before the transmission warms up on this. It's a super cold day today. It's in like the 50s or something right now. And I realize that it's not cold everywhere, or that's not cold to a lot of people, but in Florida with humidity, that's actually pretty cold. So, plus we're not built for that. I'm no longer an Arctic climate type of person. Okay, we got some flow, vacuuming, repeating, continuing, waiting. Okay, we're about 2/3 of the way through the fluid, so I am gonna have to add another quart to this vessel later on, but we're still exchanging left rear, still waiting on this thing to wake up. Come on. Okay, let's go check it out real quick. We're gonna close the valve off, remove the hose, crack that valve open. Yep, some bubbles, and that fluid is super duper clear. Brand new fluid come through. Now we can lock it back down, move on to the right front wheel. Cap going back on. There we go. Before we get into that other wheel, or the other axle rather, let's refill this machine. So I need to disconnect the pressure because I have to dump the pressure in the machine. Down, down, down. That's why we had to shut that valve off and then empty this out, because this thing does hold pressure to it. Unclick you, and then one more quart, or most of a quart. Oh, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna be done with this entire service by the time that thing over there is done. Double dipping on the time clock. So what do you guys think about that? If I'm doing two things at once, do I bill for two things at once, or do I bill for only one thing because I was able to accomplish both tasks within the allotted amount of time? Is that dishonest? Comment below, what do you think? Should I do one of these for no labor charge because I'm doing them both at the same time? Or is that an advantage that you get with experience? Oh, vacuum. Need pressure, or vacuum. I need vacuum pressure. There we go. That's on, pressure's back up. Let's open this valve again. And we'll take our suction hose to the left front next. Right over here. Hang this guy up on the strut. Good. And I think we need a 10 this time. 10 millimeter. Crack it open. Reset the wrench position. Hose on. Wide open. There we go. She's flowing. Okay, we're about 30% of the way down again. It's been a couple minutes. Let's go check fluid condition at the right front. And we'll see if we're clean enough to move over to the other side here. Pull that guy off. Crack it open again. See how we saw some bubbles there? Yep, nice, clean, clear fluid. That's the good stuff. Let's lock down this bleeder. And one more wheel to go. That's the left front. Let's just slide around the side over here. Yeah, close quarters combat once again. I'm all blocked off. We can't do anything. Okay, illuminator coming in. Let's pull the little cap off. Set that right there. Clicks, unclicks. I got the fluid on me. There we go. So I'm gonna let this ride until we're about a quarter quart through, approximately 1/2 or a quarter liter. There we go, liter. I should start speaking in metric, mess with you guys. Yeah, we're gonna run this down to about the, let's call it the W2 mark, and then we should be good to go here. Nearly done. We went pretty far on that one. Let's lock it down. I walk away and do other things while these things are doing their things. Anyway, locking it down, open it up, bubbles coming out, nice, clean, clear fluid. That means it's got no moisture, no breakdown, good to go. Let's get the lighting, our hose out of this area, and we can shut down our vacuum. Next up, we disconnect the air line. There we go. Dump our pressure. And now we may disconnect the fittings up here at the master. And again, you've got to dump your pressure because this will be pressurized as well. And if you take that off, it'll shoot a bunch of fluid out at you. And look at that. Our fluid level is unaffected by the exchange. Good. Toss the cap back on. Brake system fluid exchange is complete. And I'm still waiting on this machine to wake up. Or the transmission, rather. Anyway, put our adapters back, get the tools out of there, set those aside, and I can go put this machine away. Oh, so I didn't mention it, but this machine has a tank down here, and all of the old spent brake fluid will be deposited into that tank. And when it's full, I can just take it out of the machine and dump it into the oil drain barrels, and then they haul it away for recycling. My machine keeps spinning every time I stop. There we go. So just to make sure I didn't introduce a bunch of air somehow into the system, you just reach in here and actuate the brake pedal real fast just to make sure that it doesn't go down to the floor. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, good to go. No problems detected. So I need to speed up the warm-up process on this transmission. I'm gonna shove some screwdrivers into the brake rotors. Hang on, don't re-out yet, just wait a second, watch this. We're gonna shove, oh I can't do that when I put the wheel back on. Okay, I'm gonna take the wheel back off. I'm gonna shove some screwdrivers into the brake rotors, and then I'm gonna put this thing in gear and just let it idle in gear. That should engage the transmission, and it'll help to create some more heat in the system. There we go. I was trying to be extra efficient and I lost it. Not okay. Anyway, these are gonna lock in these brake rotors, and it'll prevent the wheels and axles from turning, or axles rather, prevent the axles from turning, and it'll allow me to leave this thing in gear without having to hold my foot on the brake. Let's climb on in here, up, over, pivot, tight squeeze, brake on, in gear. Transmission not in park. It's mad at me because the door's open. We'll let off the brake. And I just felt the screwdrivers catch. Let's go ahead and climb out of here. Double check everything. Reverse pivoting. There. Yep, that's locked in pretty good. We're not going anywhere. And this one should also be locked in. Yepper. So we've got forward force going against these screwdrivers on these rotors through the axles. Hey, like 20, 30, 40 something minutes later, we've got some fluid flow going now. We got fluid up top, down below. Switch our valve to process purge. And we're just gonna sit here and wait for this thing to run its course. What we will notice is brand new fresh fluid is gonna displace this dirty fluid, and the pressure will come up on our used side. We'll have a pressure differential between these two sides. So this one will say like 20, 30 PSI, and this one will drop down to like maybe 5 or 10, or stay where it's at. So we'll see. Yeah, so we've got new fluid coming in, old fluid coming out. Let's just hang out here and let it ride. All right, I think we're good to go here. Check it out. So we've got about 5 PSI on this side. Let's close our valve off to process purge. Clean fluid and dirty fluid looks the same, and we have a pressure differential on the used side. That's exactly what we're looking for. That tells me that this machine is fully completed in its exchange procedure. We can now shut this engine down and start reassembling the vehicle. Yay, that was a resounding success. Did you guys see the dramatic difference in color from that used fluid into the new fluid? Powering down. Yeah, that was quite a difference that we had there. All set. So now I can recover my screwdrivers. They are unscathed. No damage to the drivers. You use a cheapo screwdriver, that might break off, and you don't want to do that. But these are fairly decent screwdrivers, so should not be an issue. Okay, let's recheck. This is warm, but I want to recheck the coolant level. Thermostats had plenty of time to open up. The cooling fans were going off. So we're just going to check that coolant, and we are looking good right where we're supposed to be. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and lock that back down. So brake fluid's good, transmission fluid's good, PTU fluid is good, and the rear diff fluid is good. So at this point, all I really need to do is disconnect these lines and put all that stuff back together. Then we'll get the wheels back on this thing and put it back on the road. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our hoses disconnected. They're a little warm because we did have to come up to temperature. That one's leaking. No. We'll put these over here. Disconnect the hose assemblies. Get all our fittings and whatnot out of here, and then get this thing back together. Stay. There. I have arrested the leaking. Ha, see that? Arrested. I arrested the leak. Okay, so we're coming in with that flat blade driver again. We're gonna get to our hose clamp. The one that's way down yonder, kind of buried. What'd I do?
I said I can't do these things one hand at a time.
Use all hands. All hands on deck. Okay, we'll grab this fitting and we'll twist it. The twisting action reduces the amount of gripping force that's present because friction has been removed. There we go. Adapter hose, throw that out of the way. And then the other one, we have to pull that off with the pliers, run the clamp down and pull the other adapter piece out. Okay, needle nose returning. Let's unclamp the clamp. A little warm. Wiggle that guy down. Come on, clamp. Do what I tell you. And we'll grab the fitting here. Pull the fitting out, like so. Tuck that hose back into its home and onto the cooler line. I'll use the pliers to push it on the rest of the way, and then we'll hit it with the clamp. Put that thing back in position. Let's see here. Okay, clamp is in its home right there. Good to go. So now, I'm gonna mop up all that coolant that I spilt in the air box. That's not okay. Coolant and trans fluid. I meant transmission fluid. Word association. Clean this up and throw the air filter back in and get the lid back together. There we go. Okay, K&N back into the filter housing. Let's flip this guy back over. Plug it in. Connect it to the throttle body. Get that hose out of the way. Good. Snap it on. Connect it. Seat the boot and clamp it. More. Beautiful. Okie dokes, restarting the police interceptor. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here, hit our test drive route real quick like, make sure everything's good to go, and we're calling it quits for the day. Basically, I just want to make sure our brakes feel good, and I want to make sure that the transmission still feels good. Yeah, earlier we did skip a little bit of other work on this truck. Dave threw some spark plugs in this unit for us, and I had to have the back cage of the cop car taken apart because I had to put some heavy-duty rear shock absorbers on it. It was not really a good environment for filming. It's really dark back there, so we did not record any of that business. Plus, that was going to make this video like 3.5 hours long, so we decided to not do that. Okay, let's swing this gate open here and go out and hit the road and make sure everything's copacetic. We're gonna get out of here. So fellas, having said all that, I believe I have nothing more to offer you on this particular video other than a thank you for watching this video. As always, I certainly hope you enjoyed the program. Let me know what you think about this cop car down in the comment section below. Do not forget to tap that like button while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a video, in a Ferd, end of police vehicle, end of royal flush, end of close quarters combat, end of transmission.